Morning. You see this green? I wore it last week, so no, I did not sleep in this, and I did not come back to work with the same clothes on. I washed them both, and I got dressed this morning in honor of Pickens Dragons, and you are a Gilmer Bobcat,
Yeah.
but you rooted for
I did.
the Pickens Dragons. This is Jesse. Today, Jesse's going to be doing most of the talking because I sound like death chomping on a soda cracker. I can't help it. It's allergies. That's all it is. It's crazy. I don't have a temperature. I just can't breathe. I think I need to breathe if I'm going to do TV.
Yeah, you just might
Just
have
a
to.
little. So Jesse's here. We had talked last week about what does it take to get a 17-year-old involved in politics, and we're going to talk about that. But first, we're going to talk about nothing but the Pickens Dragons. Baseball, honestly, history was made in Pickens County, actually Troup County, and it's so weird because they beat a team that was the state champion. Does that make it better? Yeah. I think it does. 2-1. 2-1 into our friends at the Pulse. We love that. That's so cute. And Dave Garner, who was here at ETC for 100 years, was calling the game on the Pulse. And it was awesome to get to hear it. It was awesome to get to keep up with it. It was really, really great. But when it got to where they won, I just kept looking and listening, thinking, did they really win? Did they really win? Did they really win? Yeah, they really won. So Pickens state champions. Now I'm going to blast the local news media in Atlanta. I sent several of them information about this win. They didn't show any of it, and that made me mad.
Yeah.
Because these folks deserve to be on the big TV, and if you can't put them on the big TV, you know why I think they can't?
What do you think?
They're woke and liberal, and they don't care nothing about us folks up here in the mountains. Is that not the coolest thing, y'all? Is that not the coolest thing? Look at those kids. How cool, how cool. Coach deserved the win. Team deserved the win. It was a team effort. Not one person got all of the credit, and I love that. And it is just the coolest thing ever to see Pickens Dragons come home with a state championship. Do you know what state championship means? It means they got the whole big thing. They won. They got it. They did it. They did it after years and years and years of trying. Such a great team. It was a great community effort because a lot of people went to these games, and one local business bought many, many tickets. One of them was Emma and the other one, I can't remember the name of them. They bought lots and lots of tickets, and this is as they were coming home last night. And folks gathered at the Pickens High School to say, welcome home, you state-winning men.
Yeah.
Is that not cool? Would you get out at 11:15 to do that?
Yeah, I might would have if it was Gilmer.
Yeah, if it was Gilmer, yeah. Yeah, but congratulations to the Dragons, congratulations, and to everybody who filmed this and put it on Facebook. We're so glad you did because we get to share it with folks who weren't there at 11:15 at night celebrating. It was really, really cool. It was really, really cool that these kids who have worked so hard, and they have this amazing atmosphere among them that's like going to be hard when the seniors leave and go to college. This is going to be a tough gig because they won state. Is that not the coolest thing ever? That is so absolutely cool. And I get so tickled. Some people must spend their days under a rock because I looked at somebody on, I think it was Friday, as they were going through downtown Jasper, and on Facebook somebody said, why are people standing on the street corners in green jerseys? And I'm like, where have you been for the last 3 weeks while we've been going to all these championships? Where have you been? Pickens, great job. Congratulations, Dragons. Congratulations. And honestly, it was one of those things. Either team could have won because they were both amazing. And I think the boys have a picture that they really like watching. And when you play 3 games, then you have different pitchers. So everybody had to do their part. And everybody did their part because they are now state champions. Is that not too cool? They eliminated several teams. They kept winning. They just kept going. They kept plugging. And to Matthew Starks, I'm so glad you had so much stuff on your Facebook that I could get. So thank you to everybody. So excited. So excited. Look at this. Look at that.
So happy.
Is that not the coolest thing ever? Is that not? That is lots and lots of hard work. Lots and lots of hard work. So congratulations. I hope nobody broke anybody's back or knee or neck doing what they were doing on the field, because they were excited. They were beyond excited. And again, a team effort, a coach team effort. Just it was amazing. So look at them boys. They're just acting just like they're happy.
Yeah.
You think they're happy?
Yeah, I do,
I think they're pretty happy. So congratulations again to the Dragons. You are it. You are it. And again, I sent stuff to the television stations in Atlanta, and nobody put a thing on there, and that made me so dang mad. And you know, it don't do to mess with me late at night, because number one, I just don't feel good. But I'm okay. I don't have a temperature. I just feel cruddy because I can't breathe. I said, Jesse, can you just be here and do the show? So what you going to talk about?
A little bit of local government and state of Georgia government.
State of Georgia. You sent me, thank goodness, my dear friend Charlie Paris won, because it was one of those very nasty elections.
Yes.
Very nasty elections. And before we get into that, we're going to also share some photos of something I did last week. And I don't think what I have is contagious, or I probably wouldn't have this boy this close to me, but I was cooking and serving and inviting and welcoming in lots and lots of folks last week to Ball Ground, Georgia. And we invited agents from all over our community, and our company owner, Steve, came in to visit with us, and we talked about the fact that the company I work for is #1 in the state of Georgia with residential sales. So if you think the economy is not doing well, it may not be doing well in some areas, but it's doing very, very well in residential sales. We sold just under $5 billion worth. And $5 billion in houses, that's a lot of houses.
That's a lot of money.
And it's all prices from $250,000 to $2 million. I mean, it's a variety of prices. There's our owner, and there's my broker, which I don't know how in the world we would make it without her. She answers her phone 24/7. She sleeps with her phone. She is available. She is on target. She is on time. Fed lots and lots of folks. And I can say the flooring that we use at Bircher Homes at Malone's Pond will stand up to lots of high heels, because we had lots of women dressed up really pretty and lots of high heels. And I looked after they left to make sure we hadn't destroyed the floors. The floors fared very, very well. So, and everybody loved it. And thank you to Papa's Restaurant in Jasper, Georgia. They catered Thursday's event, and then I did the desserts and the sides and all that stuff. And we had a really, really good time. And then on Saturday, a big, huge shout out to the Shriners, the Canton Shriners, Cherokee County Shriners. Were having a barbecue, and I was kind of watching the weather. They were supposed to have a car show, and it's their once-a-year fundraiser. And I thought, uh-oh, it's going to rain really, really hard, so maybe we need to do something to make this fundraiser successful. So I did order a lot of food from the Shriners, and very honored to be able to share it with people. And we shared and shared. We shared barbecue. Now, this was on Thursday when we were sharing the Greek and Italian food. And let me tell you something, it hit the spot. Everybody loved it. So if you haven't tried Papa's Restaurant in Jasper, that's chicken piccata. That was my choice. Then the next is lasagna. And then the next, they have amazing breadsticks. And the Euros, you see, they disappeared. And then we had some really good grilled meats. They just did a fantastic job. And that marinara, yes, I could drink that marinara. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And this is the Shriners. When they showed up, brought 50 plates, and we helped the Shriners, and they helped us have a really good day. as we honored and we thought about Memorial Day. Memorial Day is a very, very special day. A lot of people just think it's to have a barbecue. No, it's to forgive and to forget and to never forget of those who gave their lives for our country. And that right there, do you know what that is? Do you know what that's the making of?
I'm not sure.
A pound cake. That's a pound cake. Has your mama ever made a pound cake?
No, she's not a big cake maker.
Well, I learned that if you don't do your science right, your cake falls apart. I did the science right, I reckon. Oh, now, y'all. Now think about it. These hair rollers were bought in 1970 at Super D on Main Street in Jasper, Georgia. Do the math, people. 1970. Jesse, how many years is that?
That's 56.
56 years. I have been using the same rollers. The only time I use them, though, is when my sweet precious Leah is out of town. My sweet precious Leah is celebrating her birthday. So she's at the beach. So Sherry had to do the old lady gig. And I just thought it was hysterical that there's a precious old soul over my head as I'm doing it. And I laughed because she rolled hers on bobby pins. I could not do bobby pins. I got way too much hair for that. So, but yeah, I sent Leah this and she laughed. And so she'll have a happy birthday because she knows that my hair does not look like it does when she does it. But I did the best I can. Now, we asked Wyatt to share that because he's actually been there. Have you ever been there?
I have not been there.
Okay, is there something missing on that?
I think there might be.
I think there might be. I think that Abe needs to move over just a little bit and put President Donald J. Trump in the middle of that. I think he's done as much, or maybe more, than most of those people, except for George Washington. He was a pretty cool dude. You know, Abe Lincoln, they were all pretty cool dudes. Yeah. Now that I think about it, maybe we'll just squeeze him in over below him, just right there where them trees are. We'll just sit him there front and center. But I have never been to Washington, D.C. I've never seen all the memorials and all the beauty there. I've never been to Mount Rushmore. To be honest with you, y'all, I've been to Alaska, and Alaska. I've been to Texas, and get me out of Texas as fast as you can because the traffic in Dallas, Texas makes Atlanta look like amateurs. So I'm just not a big traveler anymore. Now I'll go to Mount Airy, North Carolina. I'll go to Gadsden, Alabama. I'll go to Dalton, Georgia. Dalton's not too far. Yeah, not that far. But don't get me out of my element. Just don't get me out of my element. I like to be where local folks, good folks, are saying, "Hey y'all, how you doing?" Do you get weird when you go somewhere? Uh-oh, I knew we'd get that call. Uh-oh, hold on. Hello. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, he's here. I told you he would be. Yeah. Yes, sir. Uh-huh. Yeah. I'm going to let him explain all of that. I don't know how a 17-year-old became a member of the nearly Republican Party. I mean, the kid he's a conservative. Yes. Yes, sir. No. I'm not bringing nobody on here that wears Stacey Abrams t-shirt. No. You don't wear Stacey Abrams t-shirts, do you? No, sir. He's a good boy. Yes, sir. Who influenced you the most in politics?
I'd say probably Commissioner Carlene Ferguson.
Okay. A true conservative?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir. He said conservative. Yeah. Oh, no, if he was leaning the other way. Oh, no. Yeah. Yes, sir. We've got his Jackson hat up here. I know that you're supporting that other one. And Jesse, now, if I was a Republican conservative and I was supporting the other one, you were supporting, would we fight about it? I don't think so.
I think we would.
I think we'd talk about it. Yeah, we'd just talk about it. Because sometimes, yeah. And I know you threw your hat in to support the other one before the other one threw his hat in. I get it. Yes, sir, I get it. I know. Yes, sir. Yes, I saw you at Arlington. That was amazing. And I didn't know that 400,000 are buried at Arlington. Isn't that amazing? And one thing, yes, sir, could you just get me in real quick at the changing of the guards? Yeah, I don't want to drive up there. No, I don't like driving up there. No, I don't want to fly up there either. Well, how can you get me in? I don't know. Oh, you'll make arrangements. So that'd be good. Yeah, I'd love to see the changing of the guard. That's kind of like that's my oh yeah moment. Yeah, I'll tell them Pickens Dragons you said congratulations. Yeah. Well, you know, you need some rest because you don't sound like I do. Are you tired? No, you never get tired. How do you do that? You're older than me. I don't know how you do this. Well, I got up this morning and I felt bad for 3 days, but I'm here. Yes, sir. Yeah, I don't have your energy, but I'm here. Yep. I think we might sleep about the same hours though, because I got up at 1 o'clock in the morning, took Mucinex, went to bed, and I was up again at 6:05. So, have mercy. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm gonna let Jesse tell why he's a conservative. Yes, sir. Yes, and if he could lead a group like Charlie Kirk's group, wouldn't that be amazing?
That'd be great.
You know, I think that may be why he went over the edge really big. When Charlie got killed, it made a big difference in kids his age. So, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, tell Don Jr. I said congratulations. Yeah, he got him another pretty one. So, yeah. All right. You take care, sir. Bye-bye. Yeah, we gotta figure out what we can do. You're just one. How many people in your classes that you go to school with and that you know think conservatively?
Well, I think a lot of them think it, and I like Trump, but they don't really get into it.
Yeah.
And then the ones that do get into it, there's some that really don't like him, and that comes from the household, not really them.
Right,
You know, you're
right.
trained up,
Right.
and in the Bible it says, "Train them in the way you should go," and that's every aspect of life.
Right.
And I think it's probably, to be honest, if you took a survey, it'd probably be 50-50 where people stand, and that's just the.
Well, we need it to be 51-49.
Yeah, that's right.
Because we win at 51-49.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's important, but when it's funny you said that, because I have some dear friends. I pulled up in their yard one time and there was the wrong sign in their yard, and we've been friends a long, long time. But they told me the last election they voted for Trump, and so I thought, good, okay, good. You can clear up those bad decisions you've made, and you can make better decisions. Now, you were in the middle of the Charlie Paris event.
Yes.
And you got to see, you were actually at the debate.
I was, yes.
And there was some nasty mudslinging.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, it's just throughout social media, throughout the GOP debate, or in the GOP meetings, it was just always back and forth, and it's been like that. There's a couple people in this county who came and want to stir a pot up, but and the advice I give them is just go back to where you came from. But
somebody told me one time when they came to Jasper, they said, "Well, we don't like the way you do so and so," and I said, "Really?" And I heard that 2 or 3 times. Then one day I was standing in line at the courthouse to do something, and a lady was, "Well, that's not the way we did it in Rhode Island." And the lady who was helping her said, "Ma'am, I think that road that you came down goes back up." And I thought, yes, she said what I was thinking.
yeah.
So if you come here because you love the way we live, which is conservative and quiet, easygoing, even, Dwight Sanford is an old, crotchety old man who is such a conservative. It's because his parents taught him that, and often people lean that way. Now, I have a couple of family members who lean the other way, and I'm going, what's wrong with y'all? You've eaten at my table long enough to know the difference, but sometimes people lean the other way. Do your parents get involved in your decisions, or are you just an independent kid?
Well, we are in America, so we think the same, but if I wanted to pull for Burt Jones and they was pulling for Rick Jackson, they'd be okay with that, or vice versa.
As long as you stayed within the party. Yeah, and I think that's important, because somebody made a phone call to me one day and they said, "I can't believe you're voting for him." And I said, "You don't know me very well then. You've known me how long? I'm a conservative. I'm a Republican. That's how I vote." "Well, you should think about it." I said, "I'm not going to do that." And I stood my ground, and it actually caused a little trouble because she just couldn't believe that I did that. And I said, well, you don't know me very well.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key. Get to know the people. My granny said it best, you are known by the company you keep. Mm-hmm. So at school, do you ever have run-ins with people who don't see things the way you do?
Yeah, a lot of times, a lot of people ask me, and then you tell them an answer. If they don't like the answer, you're wrong, you know, and all that. Mm-hmm, they like to pull the Epstein thing with Trump a lot.
Oh, yeah. That's crazy.
Whatever.
It's crazy. I think they were bored and had nothing better to do. Yeah. So now I know that there's a runoff now, Burt Jones and Rick Jackson. And if you see my truck, it's got a Rick Jackson bumper sticker on it. Could I have voted for Burt Jones if there was no other choice? I would have, because I'm, again, a conservative. And he is a conservative GOP candidate, although I believe that I think it's time for newness, you know, and that's just my opinion. So, and everybody, it's like you said, this is a free country. Mm-hmm. It's a free country. Now, you went down to the Capitol, and you're going to get to go back. Did you see things moving quickly at the Capitol, or is it smoke and mirrors and it just sits there a while?
No.
How did that work?
No, I think our legislation here in Georgia is probably one of the best in the country. And it's not all this arguing you think it is between Republican and Democrats. They're just a big old family, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm.
And they work together.
And they work together.
Yeah.
And I bet there is some mudslinging, but when I was there, I didn't see none. And I seen people working together, you know.
Yeah.
And you had Johnny on, and he
really like him. And I told him, I mean, I did not support him. I supported another candidate who is also GOP conservative. And it's so crazy because she got a job she really, really loves, and he got a job that he is doing well. And I think that's important. And when we look at Rick Jaspers, you know, Rick Jaspers was an outsider 45 years ago when he came to Jasper, because he came as our county extension agent and helped kids, was involved in so many things in the county. And he's now been representing us for 2 or 3 terms, I think, and will be up again for an election. And I understand there's somebody of a different flavor running against him. And it just, I was like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So that's kind of how I am. If they're doing a good job, continue to support them. And gosh knows Rick Jaspers is doing a great job.
Yes.
And I think that he and Johnny complement each other, which is really cool, because they're both working for North Georgia.
Yeah, they definitely work together a lot, both of them. And at the time, Steve Gooch, which he ran for Lieutenant Governor, he didn't get it, but I'm excited to see what he does in the future.
Who did get Lieutenant Governor? It's a runoff,
It's a runoff, yeah.
Who are the candidates?
I don't know who the two are. I know it's I forgot his name. I don't know, but it's Kennedy and somebody else. I forgot who it is. And then
it's funny because his name is really John Kennedy. And I'm like, not to be confused with our president.
Yeah. Well, you know, a lot of people they just see the sign Kennedy and they're like, oh okay, they got some tie and you know, vote for Kennedy.
And they don't.
Yeah.
They've never been to Boston. Yeah.
And then there's a lot of runoffs. I mean, here in Gilmer County, our Post 2 runoff with Colonel Gary Engle and Danny Hall. And our runoff. I
had Gary on the show, and I really liked him. And I really like the idea that he has a long military career, because I believe the military teaches you great things that you could never learn anywhere else.
Yeah. I was talking to him, I think yesterday actually, and he was like, I had this many employees and this much money, and it was a tight squeeze with what he said. And he's like, I can manage a budget.
Yeah.
And he's like, I have my ideas and all this. He's like, I was asked to run.
Yeah.
And I'm running. And he said, there's been people trying to come after me and get me in trouble for stuff I haven't done. But he's definitely going to be my pick, and I think he'll do a great job at it.
Yeah. Now, the sad thing is, you can't vote yet.
Yeah, that is sad, yeah.
That is sad, because you really put your heart and soul into this. Now, would you be willing to, I know you've been following Rick Jackson and you've been to a bunch of his events, and have you seen things, have you seen people really warm up to him and really ready to embrace him as our governor?
I think a lot of people see him as a outsider and as a just as a normal human being, you know, and that's a lot of people. They get scared of the elected officials, like here in Gilmer County or outside. But you gotta look to it; they're just like us, you know. And Rick is definitely he has stayed hours after an event talking to people, and he will shake everybody's hand if you just get in the line, and he'll talk to you.
Yeah.
And he's definitely a outsider, a businessman, and a family man, and a Christian man. And I think he's going to do great things when he's governor.
Well, I got tickled because Techwood Drive used to have the housing projects, and that's where he grew up, and that's where my grandmother lived. And she left Dawson County, Georgia, and ended up, my grandfather was in a hospital bed 25 years of his life, and they needed to be near Grady Hospital. So she moved to Atlanta. The only thing available she could afford was Techwood Homes. It was rough. It was rough. And I got tickled last night. I was watching some stuff on YouTube, and it was how we used to have a box fan in the window, and we used to make sure that the screens were blowing good and we'd gotten the dust out of them, because in the summer all we had was hot air. Well, I can remember being in Granny's apartment in Techwood Homes, and all you had was hot air because there were no air conditioning of any kind. There was, I mean, these buildings were built like war camps because they were solid steel doors. It was very strange. And it was very cold feeling. And I thought about Rick Jackson when I first started watching him. And I thought, I knew what it was like. My grandmother had to be in Techwood Homes because it's what she could afford. And then she could get on a bus and go to Grady Hospital and stand in line for 8 hours to get my grandfather's prescriptions refilled at 50 cents a prescription. They also got commodities food when they lived there. And Granny had $5 a week for groceries. And we would take her little grocery cart and we would walk to the A&P on Techwood Drive, and she would buy, I'd say, Granny, what are we going to get? And she'd say the same thing we get every week, except she'd say a bad word. And she said, don't you tell your mama I said that word. I said, okay. And it was the same thing over and over, 3 pounds of coffee, 3 pounds of ground beef, and it was, that was $5 worth. And we would walk back home on Techwood Drive. I didn't feel insecure. I didn't feel like I wasn't safe. That area became a crime zone. I mean, it was just horrible. It was terrible. Drug dealers took it over. They tore down a bunch of those. They made them into the Olympics. You weren't even around in the 1996 Olympics. But they tore down Techwood Homes and built living quarters for the Olympic participants. And so Techwood Homes was rough. And if Rick Jackson could survive that with an alcoholic mother and do what he has accomplished, yeah, I'm going to look at him twice, and I'm going to consider voting for him. And according to my car and my bumper sticker, I'm voting for him. So, but it's, it's your opinion. You do what you want to. Burt Jones, if you, one of my dear friends is supporting Burt Jones, and I'm scratching my head going, what you thinking? But it's your opinion, know?
Yeah, I think if you really look at him, and you see that he literally started with nothing.
Nothing.
I mean, nothing. I mean, he was in foster care. He knows how, I mean, he said he went to the Capitol one time and mentioned it, and he said, and the speaker told him he hasn't ever heard that word in the Capitol.
Wow.
And Rick, that's when he really said, that's a problem. We need to get that addressed.
Yeah.
But when somebody starts out with nothing like Rick here and builds his way up, and he's a millionaire, in which him and God, he said this, him and God came together, and he said, how much is enough for me and my family? And then he donates the rest to charities. That's why when a lot of people ask him, where's his money going? He's like, I can't tell you off the top of my head because I donate to so many many places.
Right.
And he's just a real good man and a real good guy to work for, and I'm looking forward for it.
Yeah. Now, are you doing calls and calling
Calls,
people?
phone booking up here in Gilmer, and Rick Jackson sign you see, that's mostly me out.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
If you see me, honk your horn.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. I love that. I love that you're getting involved in it because you're the next generation. And to be quite honest, I've been worried about us because I've seen some of the kids. I mean, oh, Lord. When do you graduate?
Next year,
Okay.
2027.
Okay, if I handed you if my order was such and such at the drive-thru at McDonald's and I handed you $1 plus the correct change, could you hand me back what I need, or did you get some common sense in school?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so, yeah.
Because I've met a lot of kids who work in jobs where they have to handle money and they can't give correct change unless the machine shows them what to do. That scares me to death. So I hope that we start teaching common sense in school.
Yeah. Well, I think now with the new machines, I think,
Did it make us lazy?
well, that and if the machine says you're a cent off and they give you a cent more, and then you pull your machine out and the machine says you should have this and then you're a cent off, that probably shows that the kid is stealing money in the case, but you know, sometimes the machine's never right. But I think a lot of businesses go by that machine. And
Yeah.
so I think that's really why they get scared to give you back the correct amount and then what the machine says.
I think they don't get the idea that if it's, and I watch and I'm like, I don't do that anymore, because I could see it was almost embarrassing them because they didn't know how to give back. I'd give them a 5 and it'd be so much, and I'd say, here's the correct change, you can give me back 4 ones, and they'd go, oh, I can't do that, it says I have to give you back. So it does confuse people.
Yeah.
And that scares me, because one of the things I learned in high school was from my, of all things, home ec and psychology teacher, Ms. Maisel Kemp, who said, common sense is greater than any degree you can ever get.
Yeah.
Because if you graduate from college and you don't have any common sense, you're never going to make it in this world.
That's true.
So I think common sense plays a big part. And common sense says that we are headed to some trouble if we don't change our evil ways.
Yeah.
And you know, this weekend I was listening to double the amount of DUI tickets were written this week over last year.
Wow.
Over the Memorial Day weekend, where we are honoring those who gave all, that many, double the people who got arrested last year for DUI were on the roads drinking. What kind of common sense is that?
That's none at all. Yeah, that's truly not. I mean,
It's crazy. It's crazy.
it's stupid. And
Now, we talked about your age, and I asked you to look up something. And when I said, do you know anything about the Johnny Carson show and Ed McMahon, he looked at me like I had 5 ears. And Johnny Carson went off the air in 1992, which I didn't even know the year he went off. I had to look it up. I liked Jay Leno after that. But I'm so happy that the woke, crazy, liberal media is now getting rid of some of the guys. I think that if we dug Johnny Carson back up, we would have great late night TV again.
yeah.
He was funny, he was entertaining. The one thing he did that nobody does anymore, he smoked on the set. He smoked on the set. Can you imagine that? And I don't think so. I don't think so. Well, we've got something we're going to show you that I bet y'all could never imagine. Could you imagine me rolling my hair in front of y'all and then taking it down? Because I put these 2 things on YouTube. It's kind of it's a happy birthday to my sweet Leah, because she wanted to go on vacation for her birthday, and then she said, I won't be here next week. And I said, oh no, what does that mean? Well, it means I drug out them 50-something-year-old rollers that I occasionally have to use, and I did my own hair. And so we're going to show you the good, the bad, and the ugly of me getting ready to go to bed, sicker than a dog, doing my own hair, and then getting up this morning and just trying to make it look like something besides a hornet's nest. So here we go. Okay, sick as a dog. It's Leah's birthday week, so Granny gets to do her own hair, and we all know I don't like doing my own hair. I like when my baby girl is in town, and I hate that I have to do it. But I've washed it, I've dried it, I've rolled it, and now I have this trick. I go to bed with it like this, and then I get up in the morning and I comb it, and then you'll see, and it will not look like Leah did it. But I don't have a choice. It's her birthday week. She wanted to go to the beach, so I got to let her go. But tomorrow morning we'll brush this mess out, and we'll see what it looks like. And then y'all can send Leah a card and say, don't leave when Granny needs her hair done. Love you, girl. Bye. Okay, good morning, everybody. I still feel cruddy, still sound terrible, but it's time to go to work. And, I went to bed last night, my hair all goofy and curly. Coming out of curlers, just sprayed it and let it stay. Leo will probably choke me for going to work like this. This is as good as I could do today. It's a rainy, miserable day. I have natural curly hair. Don't I sound terrible? It's a good thing I have a co-host today. Jesse, it looks like you're going to do the talking today. And I'm just going to sit there and go, But happy Tuesday. It is a Tuesday. We're celebrating in green today for the Pickens Dragons. AAA baseball state champions last night. Yay, whoa, that's awesome. That's awesome. So this is what I get after I just do it and brush it. All I can do with it, it's time to hit the trail. See y'all in a bit.
Whether you're in the mood for chicken strips, a delicious burger, our classic banana split, or an upside-down thick blizzard treat, we've got you covered. Hot and fresh food every day, every time. And delicious DQ soft serve make the perfect pair at your favorite place. Not fast food, fan food fast. Your Blue Ridge, Ellijay, and Jasper Dairy Queens are your meet, eat, and treat headquarters.
Thank you for choosing DQ. How may I serve you?
If you or your business are looking for local advertising opportunities, we have sponsorships available for new programming coming soon on ETC3. Contact us at 706-697-5591.
See us anytime you can.
ETC is connected to our community. We provide communication services that connect friends and family. We're connecting with our neighbors through support of local causes and events, connecting our students and schools to a world of learning resources, and connecting you to the latest technology with local customer service. Learn more about our community connections and fast, reliable internet. Visit etcnow.com today.
Whether you're swimming in the sea or splashing in the pool, making a masterpiece, or just making memories, writing a great American novel, or writing your term paper that's due tomorrow. Whatever you do in life, Farmers is here to protect it. For all your insurance needs, call Donald Curtis in Blue Ridge.
Out there. Welcome to Ellijay. That's with a J.
About 90 miles north of Atlanta, where the Coosawattee lay. They come out of the hills to pay their telephone bills in a town called Ellijay. When the mayor drove a shiny 62 Corvette, Slim was in a cruiser with a Cobra jet. What you see is exactly what you get if you come to Ellijay. Hey, Ellijay, a mighty fine place to be. Ellijay, 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 good enough for baby possum, muscadine wine. Leave all your troubles at the welcome sign. I'm so proud to call a piece of his mind a town called Ellijay.
How you like them apples?
Two rivers run right through the middle of town. And late in the evening when the sun goes down, you can drive through and hear the happy sounds of the folks in Ellijay. Now way back in the summer of '73, the Red Dot parking lot was the place to be. But you could get more than what you bargained for back in those days in Ellijay. Yeah, you could. Ellijay, a mighty fine place to be. Ellijay, good enough for you and me. Yeah. 69 Road Runner, Charger RT, pistol grip 4-speed, 383. Boys, that's the way it all used to be, right here in Ellijay. Ellijay, a mighty fine place to be. Ellijay, don't you want to come and see? Yeah. Trout fishing, skinny dipping, party all night. Praise the Lord, honey, I saw the white picking on a Telecaster Saturday night on the streets of Ellijay. Ellijay, a mighty fine place to be. You and me floating down the Kusawati. Yeah. Apple blossom, baby possum, muscadine wine. I'm so proud to call a piece of his mind. Drop all your troubles at the welcome sign. I'll see you in Ellijay. Woo. Yeah.
Ellijay. Go ahead, Chief.
Well, you know, the president called earlier, and then the president of Ellijay called.
Yeah.
The president of Ellijay, Mr. Ellijay, wrote that song y'all just heard. And he's worried to death about the election. But if we conservatives, no matter who wins our runoff, if we conservatives all get together for our candidate, which is Jackson, or the other candidate, which is my friend Joe's candidate, in the end, what matters is who beats Bottoms in the fall. Because that's what matters, because we're going to have to be, we got the conservatives and we got the not conservatives. And so this is me and this is me. And it's pretty obvious how I vote. But Mr. Ellijay's worried. He said, you need to gather the flock and you need to tell people. We need to get together. Now, if you were on the playground playing and you didn't agree with everybody, you'd still play with them a little bit. And you'd try to convince them, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You're pretty convincing.
I guess.
I've been pretty convincing, but some of y'all have just fell by the wayside. And so Dwight said for me to tell y'all, look, this is important because this election is so important because whoever wins the runoff has got to beat Bottoms in the fall. And he said, you need to let people know that. So I'm letting you know it. But we told him to do what?
Get out and tell people.
And write a song.
And write a song.
Write a song. And he said, y'all think I can write a song at the drop of a hat? And I said, well, of course you can. Of course you can. So if he can write a song at the drop of the hat, we're going to play another one of his songs. And when we think about, it was Memorial Day yesterday. And when we think about Memorial Day here in Gilmer County, there were a lot of crosses. Did you see all those crosses in town? Okay, if you went to the event with Lucy Harris, and I want to show this, this is a memorial here in Gilmer County, and this is what they're raising money to finish this, and it's absolutely beautiful. It had fell on disrepair and needed some help. And so yesterday, what were there, about 300 people there?
About 300 is what I heard.
And to have people there as we celebrate America, we're about to be 250 years old. Yes, that's older than me. I know, it's older than me. But 250 years of having America, and we got along well until recently, and then it started being crazy. And it wasn't just arguing politics, it was violence about politics, it was rock throwing and Molotov cocktail throwing. It got crazy. It shouldn't be like that.
No.
Shouldn't be like that. And I attended Martin Luther King's funeral. He was not a Republican, he was a Democrat, but I greatly admired the gentleman. And there's so much about other people that I've always admired. Things are different now. People aren't, I don't know what's happening. My granny's not here to teach everybody common sense because I think common sense plays a big part in everything. Now, you've spent some time around Johnny, and you're going to get to go back to the Capitol. What do you want to go to the Capitol and learn?
I want to learn how they really operate inside the floor, and that's what I'm going to get to learn, and especially for a special session called by the governor.
And what's the special session about?
It's about rezoning the districts.
It should be redistrict. It absolutely should be redistrict because they did some crazy things a few years ago to try to do alignment that had no right to be done. And I'm very thankful that the governor is calling this special session, and I think it will make a big difference, and it will right the wrongs. The big thing is you have a right to vote. Everybody has a right to vote. So register to vote, go out and vote, speak your mind, do your particulars, do your homework, find out who you support, who you love, who are you willing to make those calls for, make those door knocks for, attend those rallies. That's what it's about. And you know, when we look at the years when Dwight's daddy, think about this, he walked from Pumpkin Center out on Tails Creek to the depot here in Ellijay.
Wow.
And he boarded a train or a bus, I can't remember which, and he went to war. He went to war. Every day in America since our founding, somebody has been willing to go to war for our country. And I think it's time your generation goes to war to maintain the integrity of our country. And that's important. You know, that's very, very important. And when you look at, here's an example, because I got some of the boys say you can't find a girl to date. You want a good girl, you want a decent girl, you want somebody who thinks like you think. Is that getting harder to find?
Yeah.
That's so weird. So does that mean we're going to have a bunch of single guys because you won't settle for less?
Might be.
Maybe. It's a very different world. I don't know that I would want to be a teenager today. Because when I was a teenager, everybody thought and dressed and did the same. You know, we were very conservative. We were very respectful. Do you have a curfew?
I do.
Do your parents expect certain things of you? And that's normal. To me, that's normal. Now, we've got teenagers taking over cities. And their parents, well, I don't know where he is. Well, you ought to.
Yeah.
You're his mom and daddy. You ought to know where they're at. What is wrong with the teen crowd? What is going on?
I don't know. I think this probably plays a big role in it.
Mm-hmm.
And
because they said that's how they gather people.
Mm-hmm.
They say we're gathering on the corner of Peachtree and 10th tonight, and we're going to take over the roads.
Yeah.
And they're doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're intimidating drivers, and they're intimidating walkers, and they're intimidating everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because of social media.
Yeah.
Does social media play too big a part in our lives?
I think it definitely does 100%. And I'll tell you, I mean, I'm on it a lot too, so I'm not perfect on it.
But I think we spread the good news through social media, not the detrimental and the terrible and the horrible. And to get all these teens gathered, number one, somebody's going to get killed. And it could be a teen, and it could be your teen. So maybe sit your kids down and say, look, I know that there's some stuff going on, but don't be a part of it. You know, if you called your mom and daddy and said, hey, I came down 10th and Peachtree and be in this big thing and I'm in jail, what would they say?
They'd probably say, figure it out.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
Figure it out. Yeah. I think that's what we need to do. We need to figure it out. We need to figure out what we can do to save our nation, because we are 250 years old. And it is time that we stood together, we stood strong, and we back the blue, we back our president, no matter if you voted for him or not. You get together and you bring the best of everything together. And there's good in both parties, but there's crazy in some parties too. And I think when I look at, you've been to the Capitol and you've seen Georgia's, who represents Georgia? Is there a Jasmine Crockett representing Georgia?
No.
No. We don't have any of that foolishness, but she's not representing anybody anymore because she got unelected. I'm so proud of that. There was some nuts in the Congress and the Senate, and they have not been reelected. So maybe it's not too late, and maybe we're waking up to smell the coffee. And speaking of coffee, we have a new coffee company coming to Ball Ground, Georgia. It's called Alma Coffee. The family is from Honduras. And when they made their presentation, they said in Honduras, you grow up to do two things. You're a drug dealer or you're a coffee maker. And they're coffee makers, and they are amazing. And it's so exciting because they're going to be on the outside of town where we have another great coffee place downtown. So we're going to have two different coffee makers in Ball Ground. But they chose to come to the small cities that we serve. I think that's the coolest thing ever. Yeah. People come to our cities and they get to know us. Have you met new people that you agree with that have come to town?
Yeah. There's a lot of people, you know.
Yeah. Where did Gary Engel actually come from?
All over the place, cause
military.
Military, yeah. So he's not from here, but he moved here 10 years ago, and he opened Engel's Vineyard and Engelheim Vineyard. Sorry, and he's made that a successful business. And I know the neighbors of that area, and they was like, "Oh no, what's he gonna do? You know, is he gonna build a subdivision?" But he turned it into
a beautiful vineyard.
Yeah. And he's actually one of Georgia's best vineyard before, so yeah,
that's pretty awesome. Well, I loved having him on because they were talking about his church and how they're involved in the community. And that's another part of how do you judge somebody by, like the Shriners. I mean, I'm so thankful that the Shriners were able to help me this weekend and I was able to help them at the same time. It's about helping each other.
Yeah.
And you know, I try to help the Shriners any chance I can because I see the good that they do. There's so much good in America. There's so much good in America. So let's don't let the negativity of the crazy politics. And you will run into some crazy politics. I have a friend who ran for office and he said, yeah, I had the door slammed in my face a few times because they said, are you a conservative? And he said, yes, I am. And they slammed the door. And I thought, wow. And most people would say, well, let me tell you what your plan is. But he said some people just slam the door. So, you know, if you're not open to discussion, that's your business. Because in America, we are what? Free.
Oh, free, yeah.
We are free. We are free. This is a free country. You can be a Jessie, you can be a Sherry, or you can be a Jasmine. Don't be a Jasmine. Don't be a Jasmine, and don't wear them 4-inch long eyelashes. Does that drive you crazy when you're talking to somebody that's got them on? It drives me nuts. But Jasmine Crockett is gone from, you know, she's gone. There's so many people who were unelected, not elected to return. And I think it's the tide turning. I think we are coming to our senses and using our common sense. So if you had to write a paper for the end of your senior year, will you have to write a paper about something?
I probably will.
What topic would you choose?
I definitely picked the lessons because I look back at freshman year and now it's just like, oh my gosh, I've learned so much. And with throughout every teacher I've had, I've learned something. And whether I didn't like the teacher, I learned patience with. And if I did like the teacher, you always learn something. But Gilmer High School's been great to me, and I appreciate them for that and all they do for the community.
Yeah. And to be a teacher is to touch a life forever, forever, good, bad, or indifferent. You make your mark on that child, and I think it's very important. We know what Lucy Harris, the mark that she made. And yesterday, as we were celebrating the lives of those who gave all, of course, Noah was first and foremost in Gilmer County as we thought about that young child who was at the University of Georgia, and 9/11 changed his life and his family forever, because as the only child of Rick and Lucy Harris, he chose the military. He chose to do what he believed to be right, and he lost his life doing it. But we have to honor those. And so today, if you didn't get to go to any of the celebrations, visit the National Cemetery down in Canton. Have you ever seen that?
I have, yeah, it's pretty.
Isn't that amazing?
Really pretty.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. And Scott Hudgens donated all that property. If you haven't been there, go sit and reflect, drive by, look at the names on the monuments, and it wouldn't surprise me that you don't know some of the people down there. So.
Yeah.
But now you know that Rick Jackson is up against it because Burt Jones has been in there a while. So they're going to clash. There's going to be all kinds of craziness. But at the end of the game, their job, whoever is elected, is to beat the other candidate in the fall. So keep that in mind. Whoever you support today, know that they have to be as strong as possible. They have to be able to get to the finish line. And the finish line is not this election. The finish line is in November.
Yeah.
Because that is what matters in Georgia. We do not need somebody who couldn't even run Atlanta, and I'm just going to say it. She left Atlanta in flames nearly. I mean, she just could not run Atlanta and walked away from it, and we don't need that as our governor. So stay true, stay conservative, stay common sense. Use your common sense. Have you got something you'd like to say to him at the end?
Get out and vote.
Get out and vote for who?
Rick Jackson. And
he likes Rick Jackson.
I do.
He likes Rick Jackson. So in honor of Jesse, he loves Rick Jackson. Yeah, and I got his bumper sticker on my truck. So I hope that y'all have a great day. I hope none of you end up sounding like me. And mine truly, I have no temperature. I have a little sore throat and allergies, and it's just allergies. All this rain, stay safe, be aware. Trees are falling everywhere. A big tree fell in a spot I just left, and the tree went across the road, and I'm like, oh my gosh. When I came back through and realized, I'm like, are you kidding me? Trees are gonna come down. Be aware of your surroundings. We know there is more rain in the forecast, I believe, for about 3 more days.
yeah.
So be cautious that dirt gets loose and those trees go whoop, and there's a problem. There's a problem.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you for being here. Next time he'll be Ed McMahon and I'll be Johnny Carson. I could never be Johnny Carson. Smoke a cigarette. I don't know that I could do that. Y'all have a great, great day. And again, check us out on YouTube. Don't forget, we've got 2 channels. A lot of my recipes are up there. If you like to cook, if you like to eat, grab the recipes and go in there and say, Mama, will you make me this? It looks really good, because I've got a lot of recipes on there that the teenagers love. So have a good day, and we'll see you again on ETC. Bye, y'all.